T. Clark here, and this video is going to be about just some list stuff. And for lists, you don't have to have lists of just numbers. You can have lists of strings, of words, of characters, of decimal numbers, or even of items. So in this case, I'm going to show you an example with my list of balls from the play stuff. So right now I made, in this case, 6 balls. So I could have called this ball 0 if I wanted to, but that was just the first one I had. And I put them in the list using the square bracket. And so if I run it, I'm using the loop down below, and you've already seen this, to loop through the balls in the list. But what if I wanted to change one of the items in the list? Say I wanted to make the, let's say the first one a blue. So instead of referencing ball 1, ball 2, ball 3, or whatever, I can say I want the first one from the ball list. And to access the first one, I do bracket 0. And I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to change the color to blue. Let's see if I can type. Let's see if that works. So I'm going to restart it. And so now the first ball is blue. Okay, what if I wanted to access the last one? So in Python, it's really easy to access the last one. You just say 1 from the end, so -1. So it's like I'm looping around. And let's say this one is green. So the last one, I could have said ball 5, but since I have a list, maybe I made these dynamically. I didn't use static ball 1, ball 2, ball 3, ball 4, ball 5. Maybe I just made a loop to make a bunch of lists, or make a loop to make a bunch of balls and put in the list. And I said I want the last one to be green. So I run it. There we go. So the last one is green. The first one is blue. What else was a challenge? I wanted to maybe remove one of them. So how do I remove something? So let's see. I want to, I could have inserted something or appended something. So let's actually do that. Let's append a ball. So I'm going to make a new ball. Let's call it just ball whatever, 6. I'm going to make it yellow. I'm going to add it to the ball list. So ball list.append ball 6. So I'm adding it to the end. And then, oh, so now the speed list is messed up because it has to be parallel lists. So let's make that one. So let's make the last one super fast. Okay, so you notice it's not yellow, it's green because I made it yellow, but I changed it right to green. So if I took that away, what I did before is now yellow. So maybe I want to make it green before I add a ball, before I add that yellow ball. So let's put this above the new one. I'm adding the yellow one after I made the last one green. So the last one was green, but I added a new last one, so I appended it, and there's the yellow one. It's super fast because I made the speed 5. Let's make it 1.5. Okay, so that's how you append to the end. Maybe I wanted to add something to the front, so I had to insert it in a specific spot. So to insert at the front, I would do a new ball. So I have a new item, so a whole different item. Let's call this magenta, I don't know. And I'm going to add it to the front. So I'm going to insert ball loose.insert into the front position. The front position is always 0 in Python. And insert that ball 7. So let's put ball 7 back. Okay, I don't know how to type. Insert with 1 E. And then again, I need to probably make another speed down there to keep them parallel. So there's my magenta one. And now that's the first one. So if I put that at the beginning, and I could have changed the color. So if I change the color, instead of changing the blue one, I would change this one to orange. So there wouldn't be a magenta one, it would just be orange because I'd changed the color right away. I insert it, then change the color, and so there's that one in the front now. So now the 0, 1 is in the front. Okay, the last one, so to get the last one, you could also, instead of saying ball list -1 in other programming languages, so right now the last one was yellow, right? Yeah, the last one was yellow. I'm going to change it to, where'd the last one go? So I had yellow, now it's green, but now I only have one green. So what's going on? So I'm going to take away these appending ones and just work with these ones up top again. So I took away the 2 addings. What's going on out there? So there's that green one. Okay, so I have the green one. Instead of using -1 here, A lot of computer languages make you do the length of the list and then -1. That'll be the same thing. So the green one should be the same as it was. So there's that green one again. So you have to do the length -1. So again, the length is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 of them total. But if I'm counting, the first one starts at 0. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the last one would be at position 6 -1, which is 5. So if I put a 5 in here, it would work temporarily unless I added a new one. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to put a 5. You want to either put length of the list -1, or just in Python, it makes it easy, just -1 for the last element. So that's the last element. So first element is 0, last element is -1. What about the middle element? The middle element of any length, of any list length? Okay, the middle one would be kind of the same thing we did before with a length, would be the length of ball list, and the middle would just be divided by 2. I say I want to change that color to orange now, and let's see if this works. It will. List object is not callable. Oh, and ball list bracket, I have to use square brackets. If I put parentheses, it means there should be a method, but I'm using lists, so I have to be square brackets. Okay, so that's what I thought was going to happen. So it says in the error, it says list indices must be integers or slices, not float. So when you divide by 2 in Python, it gives you a decimal answer, so it'd be 3.0. You don't want a decimal answer. You want to make sure the index is always an integer. So if I had 1.0 right here, -1.0, that would give me an error right there. Can't be floats. So to make it work, you have to say, I want to turn this into an integer. Remember, integers have no decimal places. And then it works fine. So there's a middle one right there. In some languages, when you divide by 2 without a decimal, like in Java, it automatically does not make it a decimal number, doesn't make it a float or a double. But in Python, whenever it divides, it gives you the correct math number. So just keep that in mind for Python. You have to make sure it's an int sometimes, otherwise it won't correctly index the correct item.